Jai Hind, Namaste, welcome to Galp Taru, the Tree of Stories, which is a celebration of folk tales across India. My name is Ambalika and I am an author and storyteller, and Galp Taru is my special storytelling initiative on the occasion of the 75th year of Indian independence. If you are new to this channel, heartiest welcome. I am so delighted to see you. And I invite you to check out all our stories and poems, especially the Galp Taru series, which started on 26 January this year. And if you are a regular, then thank you so much for all your loving support. It is your encouraging words and infectious enthusiasm that keeps me going. You can regard this week's folktale as a spin-off of the movie that came out recently, RRR. Well, that was a super hit movie, no doubt about it, and rightly so because it focuses on two of the very important freedom fighters of India. It is a documentation of the fictional friendship between Alluri Sitaram Raju and Komaram Bhim. But well, I'm not here to give you a review or share the plot of the story. But yes, if you have watched that movie or you are even remotely aware about what that movie is, you would know that that movie focuses on a particular community of people, the Gonds, the second largest tribal community in India, also known as the Koiturs. Koitur meaning people. The movie pays tribute to one Gond leader, but there are two other Gond leaders to whom we all equally need to be in depth. Ramji Gond and Baburao Shedmake. Well, this is not about freedom fighters. We are interested in the Gond community from a folklore point of view. And so before we go into that, it's important to know about the community, the region and the language. So here we go. Gonds today live spread out across Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Orissa. But in earlier times, these regions were collectively known as the Kingdom of Gondwana, with slight changes in the boundaries here and there. And then during the British times, they were known as the Central Provinces. Most of them, again, with slight changes in the boundaries. But this was a long time back. Now, during the British times, not only was there a change in the administrative powers of the Gond kings, but they also ended up losing a lot of their cultural wealth, which means their language, which is called the Gondi language, took a back seat. So much so that even after independence, they have not been able to get it back. Vernacular education, as we all know, took a back seat during the British times. Nevertheless, under the aegis of the anthropologist Christopher Hoymendorf, the first ever Gondi language school was set up in 1940s. Christopher and his wife spent many years living in India amidst the Gond tribes, and they did a lot of pioneering work, which has gone on to become the foundation of everything that we know today about Gond culture and history. Even many present-day Gonds who have forgotten about their history look up to them to understand and learn about their culture and history. Now, even before the school came into existence, there were significant efforts taken for the revival of the Gondi language. In 1928, there was a language revival movement that was started, in which it was decided that the language really needs to have a script. And a leading Gondi scholar, Munshi Mangal Singh Masram, came up with a script which came to be known as the Masram script, in which the Gondi language was written. But then in 2006, it was discovered that there exists a manuscript dating back to 1750s, which actually seems to be the original Gondi script, and that is now known as the Gunjala Gondi. Colonial rule first and then imposition of Hindi caused the Gondi language to be pushed into the sands of time. Nevertheless, efforts were on always to bring back its shine. Post-independence, freedom fighter and Adivasi leader Jaipal Munda moved a proposal in September 1949 for Gondi language to be included in the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution along with the other Adivasi languages, Mundari and Oraon. Unfortunately, even after so many decades, work still has to be done on that front. Nevertheless, people, scholars and enthusiasts have been steadily working towards bringing back the lost glory of the Gondi language. Work has been slow but steady. In 2018, the Kannada University brought out the first ever Gondi language dictionary. And apart from this, the literary achievements and highlights of the language is well preserved and promoted through the monthly newsletter Gondwana Darshan, which has been in existence since 1985. Just like in the case of the other tribals, much of what we know, or rather everything that we know today about the Gonds, is because of the work done by British civil servants, anthropologists, educationists, naturalists and missionaries who were here to evangelize. Four notable names are Stephen Hislop, Stephen Fuch, Robert Wayne Russell and Henry Verrier Elwin. Verrier Elwin was an Oxford-educated priest sent to India on an evangelizing mission. But after reaching here, he came in close contact with the work of Gandhiji, ended up living in a Gandhian ashram and eventually converted into a Hindu and started working for the tribal community. Likewise, Stephen Hislop was also sent for missionary activities, but he ended up being a great educationist, founding the present-day Hislop College, and also becoming a great geologist and naturalist. Many of the items that we find in the Central Museum Nagpur today once belonged to Hislop's personal collection. Almost same is the story of Austrian missionary Stephen Fuch, who turned into a folklorist and anthropologist, but the story of Robert Van Russell is a bit different. A British civil servant, he was appointed as the superintendent of ethnography and was also responsible for publications that detail the lives of people who lived in the central provinces. So it's because of all these publications and the works done by the other three gentlemen that we know what we know about the Gonds and the other tribes today. From a folklore point of view, we are interested in a particular subsection of the Gond community known as the Pradhan Gonds. The Pradhans are the bards of the community, or the storytellers. They are the keepers of the myths, the genealogies and the musicians. In some ways, you could say they are the custodians of the culture. In earlier times, they were doing this storytelling orally, but over time, that has given way to the visual medium. Earlier, it was the Pradhans who would tell stories and pass them on from one generation to the other. Today, they paint them. I certainly cannot paint, but I have happened to read a couple of Gond stories and I'm so excited to tell them to you. So here it is. This week, the Gond story that we're going to listen to is titled Untold Stories. Sounds interesting. The story is supposed to be told, but the title of the story is Untold. Well, let's find out what happens when a story that wants to be told goes untold. So before I push up to prepare for that story and you gear up to listen to that story, let me introduce to you Fan of the Month, Lucknow resident and Sub-Inspector of UP Police, Arun Verma. Arun loves reading. His favorite authors are J.K. Rowling, Amish Tripathi and Satya Vyas. Loves cooking, but he refuses to disclose what is his favorite dish for cooking. And loves listening to ghazals, and currently his playlist is occupied by Kali Kali Aankhon Ka Phanda by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Arun ji, thank you so much for all your support to this channel, this initiative, for all the words of appreciation you have been giving. Your enthusiasm definitely keeps me going. Extra thanks also for keeping us safe. With dedicated people like you who are also so culturally refined, our society is definitely in safe hands. Thank you so much and hope to continue receiving your support. And And now I formally take your leave so that I can go and prepare untold stories to be told to you. And while I go and busy myself, why don't you go ahead, press that subscribe button so that when the story comes live, you don't miss it. And after that, why don't you just go and check out some of our stories. Give us a like and drop in the comments what is it that you liked, did not like, would like to like. I really look forward to your comments, and feel free to reach out to me through my Instagram, Twitter or LinkedIn, Facebook as well. See you soon. Till then, Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.